Rape culture is when women who come forward are questioned about what they were wearing. Rape culture is when survivors who come forward are asked, "Were you drinking?" Rape culture is when people say she was asking for it. Rape culture is when we teach women how not to get raped instead of teaching men not to rape. Many people treat rape culture as a cultural norm. But is 1 in 5 women getting raped in their lifetime a cultural norm? Should we keep treating women as objects, or should we learn to respect them? How long will we keep ignoring this problem? My first piece, an article titled, "I am reminded I am a woman when I learned to be silent," written by Laura Jensen, addresses her story and feelings about how women are treated in the workforce, on the streets, and everywhere else. A friend recently asked me how often I think about being a woman. Shaking my head and shrugging, I said, "Not often." "Well, I'm modified, maybe in terms of leadership positions and things like that." Otherwise, I had convinced myself that performing this role of woman was not something I had considered regularly throughout my day. That question and my clearly false answer followed me around for weeks. It wasn't as if his prompting was the first time I had considered womanhood. I'm a women's, gender, and sexuality studies major. I was co-president of my school's feminist club last year, led sexual violence prevention training sessions at my college, and worked for a feminist nonprofit over the summer. I can confidently say I'm knowledgeable on issues of gender identity and sexuality, surround myself with the words of Lord, Hooks, and Butler, constantly strive to be a better feminist, work harder, learn more about the intersections, and own up to my inevitable and frequent mistakes. It didn't take long for me to realize I had formed my reactionary answer. Not because I don't think about being a woman, but rather because I think about being a woman so often that it's become white noise, second nature, just another part of my daily experience. I am reminded I am a woman when I have to decide whether or not to leave my hair down and potentially be harassed for it, or stuff it under a hat. Not that it matters, I'll get harassed anyway, but if my hair is up, it gives me the chance to find another part of my body to blame. I am reminded I am a woman when I walk across the street from my building and cringe at the sight of a sidewalk where I saw 2 construction workers yelled obscenities at me last week. Thank you, I want to say to them. You made me afraid of coming home. I am reminded I am a woman when I quickly navigate alleyways to make sure I keep maximum distance away from the men standing, smoking, watching, head down, headphones in. I am reminded I am a woman when I adjust my route to avoid the groups of white men in suits who refuse to let me pass them, refuse to acknowledge the way I was taught to take up space while I was taught to adapt to their bodies. I am reminded I am a woman when the male barista tries to start a conversation with me about my weekend, and I am reluctant to respond because I have learned that welcoming discussion from strangers means I am at fault for anything that could happen next. I am reminded I am a woman when I feel guilty and paranoid for not answering his questions with a smile. I am reminded I am a woman when I say sorry for the 7th time before noon and then apologize for saying sorry so often. I am reminded I am a woman when my depression is attractive to boys because it gives them another reason to protect me, a tragedy who needs to be told she's beautiful, whose broken beckons for calloused hands to put her back together. I am reminded I am a woman when I'm terrified to publish these words or say them out loud because I know commenter 1 will tell me to stop playing victim, commenter 2 will say men experience the same thing, commenter 3 will tell me microaggressions aren't important, and commenter 4 will keep it simple by calling me a whiny, worthless person. I am reminded I am a woman when I learn it's easier to say yes more often than no, regardless of what I really want to consent to. I taught freshmen to ask each other, "Is this okay?" But I never taught them how to respond when society demands you to be agreeable. I am reminded I am a woman when I'm convinced that my memory is faulty, that the street harasser didn't direct it towards me, that the man who almost mauled me was drunk, that the boy who assaulted me truly loved me, that the sexist comment wasn't intentional, that the eating disorder was survivable, that his hand slipped, that it wasn't really stalking, that the fear is unfounded. I am reminded I am a woman when I master the art of accommodation. My mouth was created to memorize certain phrases. Not that bad, could have been worse. Grin and bear it, forgive and forget. Happy girls are the prettiest. The patriarchy tricks us into thinking there is a binary called gender within we must all perform. It then teaches men to act as if they can't be bothered with emotion, even when bad things happen. It teaches women to believe that nothing really bad happens to us in the first place. I am reminded I am a woman when I grow so immune to being afraid that I stop questioning whether or not I am really living. I am reminded I am a woman when I learn to be silent. Screw being silent. My second piece is from CARE, a Norwegian charity organization that campaigns for women's rights. This meaningful poem, titled Dear Daddy, is taken from a woman's point of view as she grows into society that treats women as objects. Dear Daddy, I just wanted to thank you for looking after me so well, even though I am not yet born. I know you already try harder than Superman. You won't even let Mommy eat sushi. But I need to ask you a favor. Warning, it's about boys. Because you see, I will be born a girl, which means that by the time I am 14, the boys in my class will call me a whore, a bitch, an ass, and many other things. It's just for fun, of course, something boys do. So you don't worry, and I understand that. Perhaps you did the same when you were young, trying to impress some of the other boys. No wonder I'm raped when I'm 21. 21 and on my way home in a taxi driven by the son of a guy you went swimming with every Wednesday. The guy who always told insulting jokes. But they were of course only jokes, so you laughed. Had you known that his son would end up raping me, you would have told him to get a grip. But how could you know? He was just a boy, telling weird jokes. And in any case, it wasn't your business. You were just being nice. But his son, raised on these jokes, becomes my business. Then finally, I meet Mr. Perfect. And you're so happy for me, Daddy, because he really adores me. And he's smart, with a great job. And all through the winter, he goes cross-country skiing 3 times a week, just like you. But one day, he stops being Mr. Perfect. And I don't know why. Wait, am I overreacting? One thing I do know, I'm not the victim type. I'm raised to be a strong and independent woman. But one night, it's just all too much for him. With work, and the in-laws, and the wedding coming up. So he calls me a whore. Just like you called a girl in middle school a whore once. Then another day, he hits me. I mean, I'm way out of line. I can really be horrible sometimes, but we're still the world's greatest couple, and I'm so confused because I love him, and I hate him, and I'm not really sure if I did do something wrong. And then, one day, he almost kills me. It all goes black. Even though I have a PhD, a fantastic job, I am loved by my friends and family, I am well brought up, and nobody saw this coming. Dear Daddy, this is the favor I want to ask. One thing always leads to another. So please stop it before it gets the chance to begin. Don't let my brothers call girls whores, because they're not. And one day, some little boy might think it's true. Don't accept insulting jokes from weird guys by the pool, or even friends, because behind every joke there is always some truth. Dear Daddy, I know you will protect me from lions, tigers, guns, cars, and even sushi without even thinking about the danger to your own life. But dear Daddy, I will be born a girl. Please do everything you can so that that won't stay the greatest danger of all.